Have you ever been late? Of course you have. Imagine you're a parent with a kid in daycare. The place closes at 4 p.m. sharp, but you're stuck in traffic. It's 4:05 and your heart is pounding. Not from running, but from guilt. You picture the teacher waiting with your child, tapping her foot. You feel like you've broken a social promise. You feel like a bad person. When you finally get there, you apologize over and over again. Now imagine you're the daycare manager. Late parents are a real problem. It costs you overtime pay and messes up everyone's schedule. You need to stop this. So, you think, I'll create a negative incentive. What's the go-to incentive in our world? Money. You decide to add a new rule. If you're more than 10 minutes late, you pay a $10 fine. It sounds logical, right? The basic law of economics says that when you increase the price of something, people will do it less. People smoke less. Fine speeding. People speed less. So, a fine for lateness should make parents more punctual. It's intuitive, it's rational, and it is completely catastrophically wrong. This isn't just a thought experiment. In the late 90s, two economists, Gneezy and Aldo Rustichini, ran this exact test in Haifa, Israel. On average, each center had about 8 to 10 late pickups per week. Then they introduced the fine in 6 of the daycares. They posted the new rule and waited for the lateness to drop. By the second week, the number of late parents started to go up. By the third week, the number of late pickups had doubled, and it kept climbing. Think about that. They introduced a punishment, and the bad behavior got worse. Why? This is the daycare late pickup paradox. To understand it, we need to look at the invisible boundary between two worlds, the world of social norms and the world of market norms. The daycare's mistake was assuming all incentives are equal. Money isn't just a number. It changes the entire context of a relationship. Before the fine, the parent-teacher relationship was governed by social norms. These are the unwritten rules of society. We do things because it's the right thing to do. We hold doors open for strangers. We arrive on time out of respect. In a social relationship, the currency isn't dollars. It's goodwill and guilt. When a parent was late, they paid a heavy price in shame. They felt bad for imposing a burden on the teacher. The moment the daycare introduced a fine, they replaced that social norm with a market norm. Market norms are the rules of business. You pay for what you get. If you check out of a hotel late, you pay a fee. You don't feel guilty. You just pay the bill. It's a transaction. When the daycare put a price tag on lateness, they sent a new message to the parents. Lateness is now a service you can buy. The fine wasn't a punishment. It was a price. And it was a cheap one. The parents' thought process changed. Okay, I can rush and get stressed, or I can pay $10 and finish this email. Suddenly, it's a simple cost-benefit analysis. $10 for an extra 20 minutes. That's a bargain. The guilt was gone. Why feel guilty when you're paying for the service? The daycare accidentally turned their kindness into a commodity. Economists call this the crowding out effect. It's when an external incentive like money pushes out an internal one, like morality. We see it everywhere. Take blood donations. In many countries, giving blood is voluntary. People do it because it feels noble. It saves lives. So some policymakers thought, what if we pay people to donate? In studies where they did this, the number of donors actually went down. Why? When it's voluntary, you're a hero. When you're paid $20, you're just someone who needs $20. The money tarnished the act. Or consider nuclear waste. In Switzerland, the government needed a village to host a waste facility. They asked the citizens of one town, would you accept this for the good of the nation? About 51% said yes, feeling a sense of civic duty. Then, they asked another group, we'll pay every resident a yearly stipend if you accept. The acceptance rate dropped to 25%. Offering money turned a civic duty into a bribe. The residents thought, if you have to pay us, it must be really dangerous. Now, back to our daycare. The managers were horrified. The plan backfired. So, After 12 weeks, they canceled the fine. What do you think happened? Did the parents go back to being on time? No. The number of late pickups stayed high. Even with the fine gone, the parents kept coming late. Why? Because once the social norm is broken, it's incredibly hard to fix. The relationship had already changed from a community to a business. When the fine was removed, parents didn't think, oh, we should be considerate again. They thought, great, now the late pickup service is free. There's a saying in behavioral economics, you can turn a cucumber into a pickle, but you can never turn a pickle back into a cucumber. Once you introduce a market relationship, you can't easily wash off the vinegar and go back. This is a huge lesson for all of us. We're often tempted to solve problems with money. If I want my employee to work harder, I'll offer a bonus. If I want my kid to read, I'll pay them per book. But the daycare paradox warns us to be careful. If you pay your child to read, they'll stop reading for the love of it and start reading for the dollar. If you offer a friend $50 to help you move, you might insult them. You're downgrading a friendship to a cheap transaction. So what should the daycare have done? The problem wasn't just the fine. It was that the fine was too low. If the fine was $500 per minute, nobody would be late. If you're going to use market rules, you have to make the price truly discouraging. But a better solution is often to reinforce the social norms. Make the social cost more visible. Have the principal wait at the door. Remind parents that the teacher has a family waiting for them. Amplify the empathy, not the transaction. We are social animals. Our reputation and our sense of fairness are powerful motivators, often more powerful than a $10 bill. As you start your careers, you'll be tempted to solve problems with rules and penalties. But before you do, pause and ask yourself, what kind of relationship am I in? Is it a transaction, or is it built on trust and pride? If you bring a calculator to a dinner party, you might solve a small problem, but you'll lose something far more valuable. The parents in Haifa learned they could buy the right to be late. But the daycare learned that some things should never have a price tag. Because once you put one on, you can never really take it off. Thanks for watching.